Welcome, everybody, to today's podcast, Video Game Archives, the podcast, where we talk mostly about video games and a little entertainment here and there. Alright, so let's get on to today's show. Today we're going to be talking about, the usual Nintendo, Sony, Xbox, anything gaming related. A couple movie news, this and that. So let's get right into it. And, let's do this. For you guys watching on YouTube, hopefully this video plays out. It worked last week, so I'm hoping that, at least it works again this week. I know the video quality isn't the best, but it's better than no video, I think. So, yeah. Start off with a little bit of quick news. So Time Splitter has IP has been bought up. So that's kind of interesting. I'm hoping that we get a new Time Splitter game, or maybe even like a remastered trilogy like they've been doing with all the other games. Yeah, I think that'd be a nice little thing. I played the first and second one, but for the life of me, I can't remember anything about the game. I mean, like, that differentiates the two games. It's just, I remember playing the game, I remember liking the game, but it's been so long. So it's kind of hard to picture it. So I hope they bring it back as a trilogy. Maybe like a $30 thing. Nothing too expensive, just to get people back on board before they make a sequel. So yeah, that was just something I wanted to bring up. It was one of those things that really got hyped up when it first came out because people compared it to like GoldenEye, Perfect Dark. So you kind of had to buy it then. Great marketing, I guess, when you think about it. Bring it up to the favorite games at the time and be like, oh yeah, these are like spiritual sequels. So, yeah, so marketing works really well. Alright, another thing. So PlayStation VR has apparently sold over 3 million units now. I think that's great. I mean, the number is kind of small compared to like all the PS4 owners, but 3 million is 3 million. That's 3 million people to sell your VR game to. So, I mean, if you make a good VR game, you have at least 3 million people looking to get it. And if the game is cross-platform with like the Vive or the Oculus, then, I mean, that at least gives you probably 5 million users who can play the game. I mean, yes, if you do it that way, you have to kind of like limit what it can do because the PSVR isn't as good as the other two in sense of hardware and capability. But I have the PSVR. I've not played the Vive or the Oculus. I have to say, I love the VR. It really does make you feel like you're there. Yeah, there's some drawbacks and everything, but if the game's done it right, it works great. I have Skyrim, which is one of the top VR games that people have played, and Job Simulator. I do have the Tomb Raider and the Batman Arkham VR, but I have not played the Batman one. I played a little bit of the Tomb Raider one. I wasn't completely impressed. It felt more like a Myst game where it was like point and click around the room, teleport, do a couple things, move to the other room, which I'm not totally against. It's just, when you play the regular mode and then you're playing that, it's a letdown. Now, if they would have just released like Myst in VR, that would be cool. Especially with the great visuals and everything, I think that'd be a great experience. Skyrim was a little hard to get used to. I still can't play more than like 20-30 minutes on the system. Just because I'm not used to the controlling and the movement's a little off. And I'm playing with the PS4, not the Pro. And the graphics are really grainy because of it. But, you play and it looks nice. Even though the graphics are grainy, it still feels like you're there. The motion gets to me a little bit. So I've been slowly working where I play like 10 minutes, 15 minutes every day to try to just get used to it, which means I'm not far in the game at all. Anyone that's ever played Elder Scrolls game, no, 5 hours and you're still at the beginning, especially if you ran into a dungeon or a cave. Um, so yeah, I think they're in the right direction, and hopefully, when PlayStation releases PlayStation 5, they don't just abandon the PSVR. I think the smart move would be to make the PS5 compatible with the PSVR, the one for the PS4, and maybe do an updated version that doesn't change the hardware or the requirements to make a game for it, but allows it so that it just updates the resolution, maybe a better field of view, so that people can buy a PS5, play VR on the old VR, the current one, and then also buy an upgraded one, and the game will work for both. I don't see why they can't do that. They do that with the PS4 and the PS4 Pro, so this way you could sell more new units but still not alienate people, because they've already dropped $200 to $300 on this one, so it'd be better just to release a PSVR 2 that's just upgraded but still compatible with all the games. Alright, so yeah, let's move on from that. Diablo 3. So, I used to play Diablo 2 at my friend's house, so I've never owned the game. But during the summer, go over there, and every once in a while we'd pop it on, watch each other play, and just enjoy beating up every creature that popped up. I never got far in the game because, obviously it wasn't mine, but I would enjoy watching it and, going after the creatures in it. So when Diablo 3 came out a couple years ago, I wanted to get it. But everyone told me it was horrible for the PS3. It didn't run well. So it kind of made me think, all right, I just won't pick it up for now until it gets better. And then it came out again and again and again for PS4, Xbox. I think it's on the Xbox. By then, though, I've already lost my intrigue for the game. Now that I see it again for the Switch, I'm like, well, support a third-party company bringing their game over to the Switch, and I think it's kind of the perfect game to play casually on my couch while I'm watching television. And yeah, I'm intrigued. It looks nice. It looks good. I'm not sure how it looks on the PS4, so I can't really compare it because I didn't go into looking at it. But to me, graphics isn't the best thing about a game. It's the experience and how well it plays, and how can I play the game. With the Switch, I could play it on my TV or on my couch. And really, I sit about 12 feet away from my television, so 4K and 1080p doesn't look much different to me. So, really 4K is more for a larger TV so you can sit closer. So once you get so far away, you start losing detail. And I sit just on the edge where, 4K really doesn't bump up the graphics for me that much. And really, it's about the experience, and 4K doesn't add that much more experience to me than 1080p. So, you don't miss what you're not seeing, and since I won't be able to see the difference, I'll just be enjoying what I have. So to me, I look forward to it. Am I going to buy this game for $60? No. Only because at that price point, if I really want to play Diablo 3, I think I would buy it used for a PS4 or something at a lot lower price. Or even wait until it goes on sale, which is probably what I'd do if it dropped for $60 for the Switch. I think a game this old being remake, I know they say it takes some months to redo it and everything, but to me, remakes or ports of an older game, $40 max. Unless you're adding so much content to it, new content, not just adding all the downloadable content that came out for the other system. It's not worth $60 to me. Now, the difference would be if they haven't released all the downloadable content on a physical form for the other consoles. So say a game has the game and then 4 downloadable content, but they never released the Game of the Year edition or completed pack. Then I could see, since you're porting it to a new console plus adding all those in physically, $60 is worth it. So, I'll probably be passing on the launch, but I will pick it up if it goes on sale. And speaking of releasing a game with it's add-ons and everything. What game was it? Okay, well, I forget where I wrote it, but so Dark Souls is being released, and it's coming with all the games and all the add-ons. I've never played the Dark Souls games, but when you see a pack for $80 and it comes with 3 games and all the downloadable content, or most of the downloadable content, I forget which it was. I'm pretty sure it's all of it, but we'll just say most. Okay, here it is. Yeah, all previous release downloadable content. Um, so yeah, so something like that, I can see paying $80 for, because you get the game, you have all this trilogy, you have the whole trilogy plus all of the downloadable content. Um, I like that better because I know when I put that disc in my console, I'm not downloading anything. Um, it has everything it needs. It's the latest version, and it plays. Where if I have a game where I've had to download patch after patch after patch plus downloadable content through the network, and then for some reason 4 or 5 years down the line, the network's not allowing those patches anymore, and my hard drive's erased. Well, now my game isn't the best version of it anymore. It's a early release, which half the games nowadays, when they get launched, have some type of bug. So, to me, that's what the physical content's for when they release all the content, all the DLC and everything. It's the final version of the game, basically, with any bugs fixed. So, now, the trilogy coming with the PS4 and Xbox One, that, to me, is worth the $80. I've never played all 3, so I can't say whether I'd want to buy 3 games for $80, but that tempts me more than, a $60 port of Diablo 3, where, you know, you get more in this game as a port. I mean, these games are newer than Diablo 3, and there's 3 of them, plus downloadable content for $80. You tell me Diablo 3 has to be a $60 game? Hopefully it's not. I don't know. I don't remember reading what the price would be, but I would imagine, all the other ports have been $60. Speaking of ports, apparently this week is just port news as it is. So, rumors about new Super Mario Bros. U coming to the Switch. I think the rumor is they're calling it, instead of U, it's Deluxe, which is kind of confusing. I feel like they could do a different name for it, some way. But I'm excited about that. See, so I played the first one, and I have the Luigi U as well, and great game. I haven't played it in a long time, and it's been 5 years now. So to me, this is barely a port from the Wii U. It's been 5 years. So a lot of games get re-released a couple years later for a new system. I mean, look at how many times Skyrim or GTA, not GTA, well, I guess technically GTA 5 came out for 2 different consoles. So I mean, why can't a game come out for the new console too, so you don't have to lose it behind? So I'm glad they're coming out with a new one. I hope that it has added features. When I say added features, something to make the game I don't know, fresh again, I guess you could say. Like it's almost new. Um, Maybe like a hard mode or like some type of ROM hack. I played I forget the name of it, but I played a new Super Mario Brothers Wii ROM hack for the Wii. That was awesome. I forget the name of the ROM, but it was a great hack. They did a great job reworking all the worlds. Um, so I'm hoping that maybe Nintendo takes a little bit of time and does some type of their own ROM hack to this game, so you can play like a hard mode where enemies from later on in the levels are randomly put into other levels, or maybe there's bigger gaps that you can fall through in the world, or other obstacles just added in. Just something to give it a little bit of a change, or maybe power-ups you can play like a no power up mode where you play the whole game and there's no power ups unless you need the power up to beat the level because you know you have to get up high or something like that. But other than that, you know, power ups are less frequent. Because in that game, I swear I got up to 100 and something lives. I mean, you could. There was no penalty for just trying to die because you got so many free guys. So maybe do a hard mode where you don't get that many free guys, or you know, no checkpoints. You know, something easily to add into the code that just makes the game a little bit harder and gives a new little coat of paint. And I guess we'll just continue this port talk. So, what other games should they port? The big one, which I'm surprised they haven't named yet, Super Mario Brothers Maker. I've been wondering when they're going to talk about this game, why they haven't talked about it. I don't know if they're thinking about porting it, or if they're just working on a sequel to it. Because it was one of the most talked about games. I love playing it. I loved making levels. I mean, yeah, making the levels, you got tired of it after maybe like 20 or 30. But so many other people are making levels too that even if you get done making your own levels, you could play hundreds, thousands, millions of other people's levels. And that's what I would do half the time. Just go on, favorite a couple people that I liked, and play their levels. Some people made great story mode levels, things like that. So I would love them to port it or make a new one. Now, to me, I think the two features that I would like them to do would be either make a new one and make it like Super Mario 3D World, where, you know, they remake the game, the Mario Maker, but you can make your 3D worlds too. So I could make small little worlds like Super Mario 64. They don't have to be large. Or even like Super Mario 3D World where it was like a isometric 3D. That would be cool too if you could do the walking around like that. I think that would be easier to do than making a Mario 64 style, but that'd be a cool feature. Give them the ability to do 2D or 3D-ish levels like that. I mean, yeah, it'd probably be harder for the average person to make a fun version of that game, but the ones that could make great versions, they would get to the top of the list and you'd be fine. Now, the other feature that I think would be cool, if Nintendo made a feature for the system where you can make your levels, but you can make your own game. So you can make a map, have like 1 to 8 worlds. You can make an 8-world map. You can make your levels. You can put them on the map, and then you could have castle levels, boss levels, and on each map. So you could play the game like their new Super Mario Brothers game was, where you walk down a map, you can pick your different corridor, different direction to go, and make your way to the last castle. And then, you know, someone can make their own game and upload the whole game to the server. So you could download someone's version of Super Mario, like the way Super Mario World looked, the whole thing. So that way you feel like you're playing a game, not just one level. Yeah, how many people actually do that? Maybe not a lot, but enough to where enough of them would be available for download. I think, too, that would intrigue people to make more levels because they would want to, you know, pick a map, add their worlds to it. Even if it's, like, not a custom map, but everyone uses kind of the same generic map, but you could pick where you want the levels on the map and just get rid of the other locations to go to. And, you know, do six levels of world and then do 6, 7, 8 worlds and upload the whole thing, and people could play a whole Mario game made by somebody else instead of just a couple levels. Because a lot of the good makers, had 30 or 40 worlds. There you go. They could theme it, do like 6 themed worlds and a castle, and then they could just go. I think it would add to the creativity of the people and would add a new experience. So I kind of hope when they release a new one or the port, they've been thinking about ideas like that. Yeah, so I think that's a fair thing to ask. While we're on the ports as well, I guess this is just port hour now. Luigi's Mansion has a release date, October 12th. I I like Luigi Mansion. First time I played, I wasn't a big fan. It took me like a year later when my friends asked, "Hey, can we try this game out?" I was like, "Sure." We played for like an hour and a half in his bedroom, and then I was addicted to the game after that. Um, I don't know why I didn't like when it first came out. I don't know if it's just because it launched with the Cube and it wasn't a Mario game, and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to play a non-Mario game with my launch console. Why isn't there a Mario game?" Um, and it kind of threw me off of it. But then I started playing it that year, and I had to play the whole game. Now, I played the sequel, Dark Moon. Dark Moon was fun, but I didn't beat it. I feel like the game was just way longer than it needed to be. Yeah, I know that seems weird, but it just it seemed the way it was set up, it made the game feel longer than Luigi's Mansion. And after a while, I just felt like I was doing the same thing over and over and over. I never got that feeling in Luigi's Mansion. I still play Luigi's Mansion now every once in a while, and I don't get that feeling. So I don't know what it was about the design of the game, but it kind of threw me off. And after a while, I got bored of it. And then when you stop playing for so long, you don't want to go back when you don't remember what you're doing. So the Luigi's Mansion for 3DS, I don't see myself picking this one up because I still have my GameCube version. Now, for those that don't have the GameCube, or for those people that have switched to being more of a handheld player because it's more convenient, quicker, easier to pick up, and you can do it anywhere, and you like the Luigi's Mansion, then you definitely should pick this up. But for me, I can't see myself doing it. I have a GameCube. I can pop it into my Wii and play it. And my Wii is so small, it takes up no space on my shelf, so I might as well just keep that and not spend the money on it. It's a great game. Um, maybe the added features may add like a little bit to it, but being able to face the boss ghosts again, don't really. That's not something that I could see myself spending $40 for. Um, it's not enough. Maybe if it was released with I don't even know what it would have to be released with. Maybe a second mansion pops up, or the new mansion, the rooms get rearranged. The ghosts somehow make the rooms more random, or change up the layout enough to make the game feel different, or maybe a mirror mode, or I don't know, or maybe all the ghosts get harder. Other than that, I don't see myself buying this one. The GameCube it works. I don't really need an upgrade, I guess. It's only more convenient if you're into the portability of the 3DS, which could be a big seller for a lot of people. I think it'll still sell well. If it came out for my Switch and it was like a $20 game, maybe. But a $40 game for the 3DS, nah, I'll pass. Okay, next up on these ports and re-releases, Grandia 1 and 2 will be coming to the Switch this winter. So, I still remember seeing this game for the PS2, I think it was a PS2, at my local Toys R Us, and back then I was really into JRPGs. At the time I just called them RPGs. And playing Final Fantasy 8, 9, Dark Cloud, Shamu. Yeah, let's drop that one, huh? I wanted to play this one, but to me, I've always had that. I gotta play the first one first, not just the second one, especially if there's some type of continuation. I knew with Final Fantasy games that's not the case, and it never bothered me. But a lot of games have a sequel directly to the first game, and I didn't want to play the second one without playing the first one. But back then it was so hard to find individual games like that, so I'd be like, all right, I'll wait, and then years go by and I completely forgot about the game. Then I see this post saying that we'll be coming to Switch this winter, and I'm like, ooh, HD remastered. Switch, you know, I like to buy my games for the Switch if I can, just because I like the thought that, hey, if I'm going out, I can bring my Switch with me. It's simple and easy. Um, you know, you get one of those little DVD case racks monitors for the back of your car, sit in the back seat, and you're playing. Long car rides, and I'm not the one driving, hopefully, I can play it. Or, you know, a long car ride, taking turns driving, people can be playing Mario Kart in the back, no problem. I mean, how awesome is that? So to me, if there's an option between the Switch, PS4, and the Xbox, I'm getting it for the Switch. And that's about it. Unless the price difference is like $40, then I'll wait for it to go on sale or pick it up on the other console. But I like having that option to be able to play it wherever I'm at. So now that I see this, hopefully it's not going to be a $60 game. You know, hopefully it's like Shenmue 1 and 2 where it's $30. To me, that's bite-sized, good price, easy to get to. I'm paying that. Especially if it has some type of discount at Amazon, which Amazon's been a little pain lately with their $10 gift card possibly on most games. I missed the 20% because, you know, 20% off of $30, you got a $24 game. That was a great deal right off the bat. Now, for the $60 game, if there is a $10 gift card, it's not a big deal. It's basically the same thing. At least they're not getting rid of it completely like Best Buy. Yeah, it's not $12 off. It's only $10. You have to shop at Amazon. But how many people don't already shop at Amazon if you're buying games? I mean, use it to go for a controller or an accessory that you wanted. Or anything that you actually were going to buy at a store. You can just buy it at Amazon, free Prime shipping, which you already have. So if you're a Prime member, you shop at Amazon. So a $10 gift card, you're going to use it. So I don't see that as a big deal. The problem is, am I still going to get, you know, $5 off $30 game? You know, if they half it or something like that. And which games are they going to eliminate? You know, HD remasters. I think they said they were getting rid of that, or limited editions, or special editions. So, yeah, if this was a $30 game plus the $5 gift card from Amazon, I'll take that. Alright, speaking of Shenmue. So, as of this podcast, Shenmue came out yesterday. I have still not played it. It's just I had stuff to do yesterday, and I knew if I sat down and played it yesterday, I wouldn't leave to do what I needed to do. But I did make sure I'd put in my console, updated everything, it's ready to go. Problem now is I had to do this podcast. I wanted to do this podcast. And then, now that I'm doing it, I'm going to have to go to work in a couple hours. So it's like, do I really want to start playing before I go to work? I should have just asked for the day off today. But no. But yes, so Shenmue, another port, came out yesterday. I can't wait to play. I played it last year on my Dreamcast because I knew Shenmue 3 was coming out, so I wanted to start playing again. And then Shenmue got delayed, so I'm like, all right, I'll just wait a little longer before I play the second one. Then the announcement of the 1 and 2 remaster. I'm like, all right, now I definitely have to play it. And I kind of like how it's not a complete remaster; it's more like a port with just added resolution. Because to me, it means it's more like the original game, just making it look like how it looked like back then. Because back then, you played it on CRTV. CRTV, it looked great. So this will just make it look like it looks like on a CRT TV, just on an HD TV, which to me is great. I'm going to love it either way, and there's really no reason to review it. It's going to be a great game. It's going to look nice. Yeah, maybe there'll be a couple bugs off the bat because, you know, porting it to a non-Sega console. But hey, I can't wait to play. I'm hoping to play after this podcast. If not, I'm going to have to wait until I come out of work. And that's going to be late. So, it is what it is. I'm glad it finally got released. $30 was a great price point. I really wish they would have released it for the Switch. It seems ridiculous that they didn't. You were releasing for the Xbox and the PS4. Why not the Switch? I don't see it being hard to play that on the Switch. And Sega loves making games on Nintendo, so I think that's weird. I think their plan, their scheme, is get everyone to buy it for the PS4 and Xbox One, wink wink, then the hardcore fans, wink wink, in 6 months, or the hardcore fans are going to get it, the game now, today. They got it. They already have it. Casual fans, between now and Christmas. And then, you know, maybe March. Oh hey, we're releasing it for the Switch at the end of April, just in time for the Shenmue 3 to come out in August. And then they get another bunch of another, 500,000 Shenmue fans to buy another version of it for the Switch and play it on the go. So they're going to do it. People, they'll buy it. I mean, I'll buy it. So I mean, if I'm going to buy it, who's not going to buy it? So I think that's their plan. PS4, Xbox, same console. It's basically a video game console. Switch, portable, and it's a system. People are going to want to have that version too. And if you do a different cover art, they're going to have to get it. So I think it's just their way to try to make more money off the game. It's working, Sega. It's working. So yeah, can't wait to play that. I'm so glad that they ported it finally, years and years. I think it was the right time. I love having it on one disc. It looks great. I can't reach it, so if you're on my YouTube channel, I showed you my pickups and my unboxing. Yeah, can't wait to play. Alright, next up. Speaking of Nintendo, Nintendo Switch Online. $20 a year. I think that's a great price point, especially for, I'm going dead. Especially, going for $40 to $60 for Xbox One and the PlayStation Network. That's a great price. I love how the family plan is only $35 for 8 people. And you get a bunch of NES games for it. Now, yes, it's not like the Xbox One or the PSN where you get like AAA titles free every month, two or three, depending on what it is. But, NES classic games with added features is more than enough for me. Especially when you're only paying $20, and especially if it adds features to make the online run better. It's a go. You gotta get it. Especially if you want to play Super Smash or Mario Kart, and the games that it could come with, Super Mario Bros. 3. I know everyone owns that copy like 9 times, but it's still a great game. So I mean, you can't complain. Now, hopefully, Nintendo will maybe add old Switch games to that list every once in a while. Once a month. Or not once a month, maybe 3 or 4 times a year, bi-monthly. We're going to release this old game for the Switch that came out like 1, 2 Switch. No one buys it anymore. Let's just put it on there so people can play it. That would be nice. That way, it would allow people to play that game for a little bit and have it. Or, like a game that's just not selling anymore on the eShops. Like, this game only sells like 10 copies a month. Okay, well, let's make it a free game for the Switch for like the next couple months. Hey, even if it's only a 30-day thing where, hey, this game's free for the next 30 days. Okay, maybe we'll get people who really love it and they buy it. Okay, let's move on. Let's take a little game break and talk about a little movie stuff. So MoviePass, as I talked about this last couple podcasts, has made more changes to their plan. So now it's $9.99 a month still. And only 6 to 7 movie titles daily are available for watching. And let me tell you, yeah, it's not a great selection of movies. Even though I don't like it, it's not as good as their old plan. If it allows them to stay in business and still offer movies for $9.99 a month, you can do forget the exact details. Hold on. Um, hold on. If you can do, even if you only go see one movie a month, you make back your money. One movie. So even though they only show 6 or 7 movies a day, the odds are one of those days a month, you're going to have a movie you can see. So it's $9.95 a month. Enjoy 3 movies per month on us for $10. So you can choose up to 6 movies. There's up to 6 movies daily to watch, and then after you get past the 3 movies, it's $5, up to $5 discounted off your ticket to buy another movie. Now, to me, that's worth it. It's still, I get to see 3 movies for $10. Now, yes, it may not be the best movie available every single day, but you can look on their schedule to see when the movies are coming out, and you can kind of plan ahead. See, I have a really open schedule, so for me, it's not a bad plan. I have a good schedule for movies, so I can see movies. I have three days easily I go see a movie. So the odds are, as long as one movie pops up that I want to see, even if I'm not really want to see the movie, but it may look interesting, for $9.99 a month, all right, I'll take the chance. It does stink that I can't just go see the movie I want to see, but if I check the schedule and then be like, all right, well, Friday has the movie I want. I still don't think they should limit it. It should just be the 3 movies. You're good. If you want to save the money, make it so you have to see the movies during the day. And if you want to see them at night, you pay a $2 charge. I think they'll still make their money that way. So, yeah, they need to stop changing their plans so much. It's hard to keep up with what I'm supposed to be watching. But it's still worth it. It really is. And it's an easy fee to have, $10 a month, and you'll see 3 movies. The odds are there'll be one day where you'll be able to see the movie you want to watch. If that means going to the movies Tuesday night at 7, okay. Alright. So, let's get back to the games, I guess. So, Spyro, the trilogy being released, has been delayed until November. Not a big deal. It's only a couple weeks later. The people that want to get it will get it. And now it's just a little bit closer to Christmas, so people can just use it as a Christmas gift for their kids or something to try out a game that they loved when they were a kid. Yeah, I don't see it as a big deal. It's not like it got delayed 6-7 months. Speaking of Shenmue earlier, Shenmue 3 finally got a release date, August 27th, 2019. Now, will it actually get released then? Maybe. Who knows? It will definitely get released before next Christmas. At that point, it'd be, 2 years delayed? As long as the game plays well, I don't need anything special. If it handles just like Shenmue 2, I'm okay. As long as the story gets continued, I get to see what the next part of the story is, it can play. In my mind, they could have saved all their money and made it look just like Shenmue 2, and I would have bought it. And I know all the Shenmue fans would have bought it. Now, yes, they're trying to get this game into a wider audience so more people buy it and make it more reasonable to make a new sequel. So I get why you want to make it as best looking as possible so it looks like a AAA title. But, if need be, you don't have to go that advanced. They could have stepped back a little bit, made it look more like, that would be a good example. Made it look more like a PS3 title, if you had to just get it so that it could be released at a profitable amount, so that way any game sales would have pretty much made your money back. So, hopefully this game doesn't tank compared with its budget and everything. I'm excited for it. I already have it pre-ordered. getting it kickstarted. It was there, ready to go. So it's nice that there's a release date. Hopefully that this long delay doesn't bring up how much it's costing to develop the game. And then hopefully that the next game can be based right off of this one. I'm not sure how game development goes, but hopefully they can reuse as much stuff as they need. That will make it easy to make a new game. I don't need that to be completely open world. It doesn't have to be a big open sandbox. It doesn't have to be as large as GTA 3. It can just be as small as Shenmue 2. And I'm good. Save your money. Don't go overboard. Just make it so that you can get a great story and it's not overdone. So yeah, love my Shenmue. So, Soul Calibur 6 Story Mode and downloadable characters were announced. So I love Soul Calibur for the Dreamcast. I think it was Soul Calibur 2. But it had a great... maybe it was Soul Calibur 1. So it had a great story mode. Great narrator would tell you about like the Soul Blade or the evil, and you'd have to go through each one and give you like a great little narrative between battles. It was a great game. Me and my cousin used to have sleepovers. We'd play that every time, just trying to get past that story mode. It was great. It was a good way to play a fighting game without playing it like Mortal Kombat style or Street Fighter, where you just go from one battle to one battle until you get to the villain and the game's over. This one gave you a little story right out for you right before the battle. It made you feel like you're actually playing a story. So I'm intrigued about this one. I haven't played a Soul Calibur game since. I tried Soul Calibur 2, but it didn't have the mode I wanted, so I kind of just forgot about the game. So now we're all the way up to 6. They're announcing a story mode, and yeah, that intrigues me. I'm hoping that the story mode plays out like the old games, where you're actually fighting through a story, and yeah, I'm excited. So story mode, Soul Calibur 6, pick it up. Back to the ports. So Walking Dead's coming out again for the Switch. The complete first season. I guess if you haven't played the game, pick it up. I got the whole game, I think, from the PlayStation Network Plus membership. So I don't see many people buying this. I mean, it does seem like the perfect game for the Switch, though, especially if you can tap and click. But, I mean, people probably play this on their phones, PlayStation, Xbox. I don't really see the necessary for the Switch. I guess it's just so if people want to keep adding it to their library, they have it. And that's kind of a good thing to have, is, you know, you have the game on your current system so you can keep playing them. It's like when consoles like the Xbox add backwards compatibility. Thank you. I like the option to be able to play mobile games. And I guess this is what Tall Tale's going for. You know, keep having it on the newest console so it's always playable. But I'm not going to get it. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. And I hope they do it. You know, port every game if you can. As long as it's not taken away from developing the games that you want to develop, and you have like a third-party development in it for the port, so that way you're still focused on bringing new content, then I'm all aboard. Bring every game you want ported over. That way there's options for everybody to keep their old games alive. If I had to port a game from last console that I would like to see, GoldenEye Reloaded 007. Bring it to the Switch. You know, if it allows me to play on my new console, that's cool. I'm not saying that's one of my favorite games, it's just the one that stuck out. But, you know, how about Mission Impossible for the N64? Bring it back as a port for the Switch. $5, $10. It allows people who love the game to play it again, and it doesn't cost, it makes money for the developer, but doesn't prevent them from creating new content. I'm all for it. Alright, speaking about the PSVR earlier, and the Vive. So the Vive is coming out with a wireless adapter. Interesting. I don't have the Vive. The Vive is already priced way above what I would want to spend for it. That I can only see crazy people buying the wireless adapter. Um, you know, what does it add in? Like another. The wireless adapter, another $300. $60 if you have the Vive Pro. So, yeah, I could buy the PSVR for that price. Do I not like the wire that the PSVR has? It gets in the way sometimes. But $300 sometimes? Probably not. Um, and what kind of lag could it have or interference it might get? How annoying would it be every once in a while you turn the wrong way and somehow it drops the picture a little bit? I'm sure they've done their job and that's why it's $300. But to me, I like wires because the connection is solid, lag free, and almost nothing's going to interrupt it unless it gets pulled out of the console. So, to me, I'll keep the wire if I had the Vibe, and if it dropped to like $50, okay, then I'll add the wireless. $300, I mean, if you have the money to buy the Vibe and the computer to power it, $300 is probably not asking too much more, but if you're trying to get it out to more people, that's a little much. To me, at this point, I think the Vibe and the Oculus both need to be $400 or under with the remote controls. Why they work on next generation and just make it so it's backward compatible, and then the next generation can be $600-700. But at the same time, they need to figure out how to make it so that even the next generation doesn't mean you have to have a next generation computer or a high-end graphics card. Mid-range graphics card be what they should be aiming for that allow everyone to get the VR. Because I mean, if my PS4 can run PSVR, then they need to figure out how to make a computer that's relatively just as low end, be able to run VR easily the same way, but a little bit better because it is a computer. So it's a cool feature. I mean, I'm glad to see that they're going wireless. If PlayStation went that way and it was perfect, that would be awesome. Just because, wires do kink sometimes and they get broken over time. But they are solid connections. I feel like this whole podcast is the port. I'm just going to call it the Portcast tonight. Sega Ages, getting some new features for their old games, which I think is great. Sonic, getting, moves from Sonic 2 and Sonic Mania with the spin dash and everything. I think that's a great feature, because every time I play Sonic 1, I sit there and I forget that I can't spin. And when you're running up a hill, and you don't get all the way up, and then you have to walk all the way back just so you can run faster, that's annoying. That's why I think Sonic 2 and 3 are my favorites back then. Sonic 1, not so much. But now that you have that feature, I think that will help the game, and I'm intrigued to play. And then they announced for the Phantasy Star that the game will have, I forget how they worded it. The game will have like an auto mapping system. I played it for the Sega Master System, and I never thought about making a map for myself when I went underground. Now that I read stuff about it, I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So that could definitely help new players get into the game more. Depending on how much these games are, I may pick them up, but I've already played Sonic 1. I have Phantasy Star. If I really want to play it, I'm just going to play it on the Master System. But for people that had the game as a kid and they don't have the systems anymore, it's probably still cheaper to buy 2 or 3 of the games from their childhood than it would be to buy Phantasy Star and then anything, or play the emulators on their computer. But it's a little bit more official being made by Sega. All right. I think we're gonna end it there. It's been a lot of news this week. It's been fun. So yeah, let's call that a day. All right, guys. Thanks for watching and listening on the podcast. If you guys have any comments about what games you wish to be ported, leave a comment. And have a good night. Have a good day, whatever you're doing. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Check me out on my podcast and my YouTube channel, Video Game Archives. And all right, guys, have a good night.